Hey 95 fam, it's Lindsay here with my husband Carmelo, and we wanted to bring you this very intimate series about 95 nutrition and the growth that has transpired over the last 6 years here. We're currently sitting in our very first location, which is actually in the basement of a church. This 200 square foot kitchen is where this all started. It's pretty hard to believe. We're sitting behind a 6-burner stove. And as you can see, if you're following us, the progress that we've made into our final home is, I don't even know how many burners are going to be at that location. I couldn't count them in my head right now.
Actually, like 12, because...
Oh yes, we have state-of-the-art equipment.
The new equipment,
yes,
yeah.
Correct. But we wanted to bring you this story to show you the growth and kind of put a face and a place to everywhere we've been along the way with you guys. I know a lot of you watching this are customers of 95 for life, the whole 6 years that we've been doing this. You have been right there with us, and it's kind of cool to watch it all unfold. So I was a dental assistant. My husband was a state trooper, and I said, I want more. What can we do in life to give people more? And I always loved to cook. And a big ongoing joke in our family is when I was younger and in high school, going into possibly college, my father said, when I told him what I wanted to be, I said, I want to cook, Dad. And he said, well, you'll never make any money doing that. And here we are in the food business, helping people change their lives through portion controlled meals. So it isn't necessarily cooking at a restaurant, but I always loved to cook, and I knew that's where my heart was. I was also very into fitness. And I brought these ideas to my husband, and he said, well, you cook meals for me. Why can't you cook meals for other people to take to work? And I thought, no one's ever going to buy that. Everybody cooks their own food because I cooked my own food. However, that's not the case.
No,
not the case at all.
We decided to take a swing, just give it a shot, see what happens. Started with an Instagram page and a paper flyer that we handed out at gyms. I think that paper flyer still exists somewhere.
It does exist somewhere.
Yeah.
And we had no idea what we were doing, to be honest. All I knew is that I could cook and that I wanted more out of life. So we started 95 Nutrition, and after arguing back and forth
about the name,
we were sitting at our kitchen table arguing back and forth. Like, we can't even start this business if we can't come up with a name.
There was like 87 different names.
Yeah. Well, we came
to a conclusion, an agreement.
An agreement.
Yes. 95 Nutrition, basically, because when people look to get healthy, lose weight, the first thing they look to is the latest gadget, gym membership. You know, they focus on the physical aspects of it, but not the nutrition side. The gym part is only 5% of your day, and where people fail is the other 95%. So we figured 95 Nutrition will help you with the other 95% of your day.
Which is how you eat, how you sleep, how you take care of your body. So there you go. If you've watched this video this far, you already have a fun fact about 95 Nutrition and where our name came from. So I'm going to fast forward through a lot of stuff that, you know, is how we came up with recipes and such and what we were going to cook. And we landed ourselves in a spot like, how do we cook this food? Where are we going to cook this food from? And we honestly, you guys know I'm always honest and transparent. We probably had $1,000 between the two of us to spend on starting this business. Now that's not going to get you very far, especially when renting
commercial real estate was not.
It wasn't
an option. You know, so what I did was call around to anything that would be considered a commissary kitchen that we could use. I called fire halls and lots of churches.
For days.
Yeah, and nobody was interested. Nobody wanted to help us out.
They wouldn't even hear them out, to be honest. It was literally, nope, we don't offer that. Click.
Yeah, and then
over and over.
I called St. Martin's Church, and I spoke with Father Earl King, and he welcomed us with open arms. And just when I was frustrated and thinking it was never going to happen, he came through, and eventually married us. So
Another fun fact. Father Earl, who gave us the opportunity to start our business in the basement of his church,
yes.
also married us down the road. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
We moved into this church kitchen, and I had, I think, 5 or 6 customers to start. And these customers, Kenny Wu, our very first customer. We'll never forget that, Kenny. I don't know if you're watching, but you were our very first customer, but we would never let you know that. Now we will.
Yeah, we didn't tell them. Like, oh yeah, we got lots of clients.
When we got our first order, we were so nervous. Like, oh my God, what do we do? We have a customer. Holy shit. I wasn't actually expecting the phone to ring. You know, there's a lot that goes into when you start a business, and it's scary. It's absolutely scary. Now, mind you, I still kept my full-time job during this transition, and it quickly became too much for me to balance both. So obviously my husband was a state trooper. Him leaving his position there was not an option. So I took the risk of quitting my job to take on the business full time, which was scary.
And poor Father Earl, who we told we were only going to use the kitchen on weekends, pretty soon we were here every single day. Well, I'm not going to say me, because I wasn't here every day. I had my day job, which was a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 job, and she was here all day. I mean, I would get back as quickly as I could to help her out, but it was her show when I couldn't be there.
Sitting in this kitchen brings back so many memories for me, because I was a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, is what I like to say, and you can bleep that out, Amanda, if you would like. But I truly was. I did everything from start to finish, starting with seeking out the client and interacting with them and taking their orders. And then I would go every single day, because this place is so small, to go get the groceries to cook the food. So I would start my day by driving to the grocery supplier, loading up our vehicle, driving back here, hauling it all in. And when you see in some of the footage, this isn't a basement. So the food didn't just, show up here. I had to haul it up and down flights of stairs to get it into this kitchen. And then I started working, cooking it, prepping it, cutting it, plating it, getting it all organized for the customer. And then the kicker was Father Earl had nowhere for us to store the food. So we had to take the food and store it off-site in freezers, which added a further step. And at the end of every day, I was absolutely exhausted. So I also had to do the dishes, as well as clean up the entire space before 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
Before 6 p.m. because the church would then fill up with an evening crowd in which I had to be out of here. So when my husband did get out of work on time, he would go right from work to the kitchen to help me clean up.
Do the dishes.
First dishwasher ever at 95 Nutrition you're looking at. Well, the two of us, but you were the first official dishwasher.
Yeah, and when I had days off, I would come in and try to help prep, and I was quickly fired because I cut the chicken slices too thick.
Quality control has always been important here, my friends.
So,
and you know that to the point where he was fired
yes,
from the chicken cutting position.
I had to find other things to do.
Which he did. But I have a good story, sentimental story. We share this space.
Go ahead.
No. I'm going to try and get this one out, because this woman is...
She probably doesn't even know how much she means to you.
All right, here we go. Mrs. Jane. She... Can you tell it? Mrs. Jane is the preschool teacher here at St. Martin's. And after 95 took off, I'm telling you, we went from 20 customers to 40 customers overnight, and doubling your volume when you're one person doing it. Overwhelming. So I'm going to tell you the story. I came in one day, I'm lugging the groceries, I'm exhausted. And I had my head down thinking like, Linz, how are you going to do this? How are you going to make this happen?
And I was gone, by the way. I was chasing after the escapees in Dannemora. So I was all the way across the state.
I was all by
No
myself.
help at all.
And Mrs. Jane sees me in the kitchen. She comes in, she goes, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" And like, I don't know, ladies out there, I'm a crier. I'm a big crier when someone hugs me. And I said, "No, Mrs. Jane, I'm not." And I couldn't make eye contact with her because I was gonna cry, and I'm gonna cry right now because of it. She came in and gave me this big hug, and I just lost it. I started crying, I was bawling. Like, I only know this woman from day to day. "Hi, Mrs. Jane, how are you?" as we were switching roles here at this kitchen when she did her pre-K, and then I came in and did 95 nutrition, and she gave me the biggest hug, and she said, "Honey, you can do this." And she didn't need to do that for me. She didn't need to push me to get the job done that day. And she immediately deflected like all of that terrible feeling of overwhelming, like, how am I going to do this? And she's like, "Honey, tell me what we're making the customers today." And I told her the menu, and she said, "Get to it." Mrs. Jane, if you come across this video, you mean the world to me. And I don't know if I would have given up that day, but it would have been probably one of the hardest days here at 95. So growth is painful. Growth can also show you exactly who you are inside, what you're made of. And that day was one of the most groundbreaking days I've ever had in this tiny little kitchen. So friends, that's just a little glimpse of what went down here at St. Martin's Basement Kitchen Church, the first home of 95 Nutrition, which is very dear to me. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for our next video, which will be where we move to after this. I hope you'll follow along with this little documentary series to see how we went from a 200 square foot kitchen in 6 years to a 12,000 square foot kitchen.
Don't sell short. 14,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's fact checker. It's 14,000 square feet. This hood behind me is what? 6 feet?
Yeah, 6 foot hood.
6 foot hood. We have 63 foot hoods now.
Yeah.
Wild. Seriously. So stay tuned. More to come. I appreciate you guys joining us along in this journey.